Real quick, we got some extensions and signings, so that's a good place to start somewhere. Devin Booker, D-Book, he's not leaving Phoenix. 4 years, $214 million to stay with the Suns. 100% certain that this means Book is not getting traded in the KD deal, and that he is the face moving forward to the Phoenix Suns. And you know what? This is a man who stayed 10 toes down at a time where this franchise was in shambles. He never asked out. He never complained. He just found his way to get Chris Paul and waited for this team to get DeAndre Ayton. They drafted well with Mikal Bridges in a trade, as we talked to Ryan McDonough about a couple of episodes ago. And some people might think $53.5 million is a lot for Devin Booker. Not me, sir. Not me. Nikola Jokic, moving forward, 5 years, $264 million. Man, these men are getting paid a lot of money. Nuggets. Jokic, 2-time MVP, just signed one of the biggest contracts in NBA history. Not bad for a fat boy that was drafted in the second round. $52.8 million a year. He's fat. He was fluffy. They said that. The draft scouts, they said, listen, this kid's got a lot of skills, but boy, does he like Skittles. Like they said, he drinks way too much cherry Coke. And that was the quote. Like, look it up. That was the quote. He drinks too much cherry Coke. 2-time reigning MVP. Probably not going to get a third anytime soon, but guess what? He might actually be underrated. Bradley Beal. God bless Bradley Beal's heart. Bradley Beal is what we call a man who has Stockholm Syndrome. Like, he has been deluded to think that he's being treated well in his circumstance because he's getting paid 5 years, $248 million, or $251, depending on who you ask. What's it matter, really, at that point? Beal now reported to sign his max extension with Washington. Does that mean he's staying? In this era, it means nothing. It means he wanted that bag. His wife is pregnant. So it's a lifestyle thing. Hang around in D.C. Don't look for a new house. Just stay here until you are absolutely certain that Tommy Shepard has built nothing around you to compete. Stick around. You'll be a 12 seed in the next 12 months. You'll have a newborn on your hands. Maybe you want to think about Philadelphia. It's an hour-and-a-half train ride on the Acela, as we know, and I think they're looking for some additional players. DeLon Wright, though, came to the Wizards, so maybe that'll help them. They've got DeLon Wright. Who else did they end up getting? Will Barton, Will the Thrill, and Johnny Davis. So that'll get them at least a 12 seed. So that's awesome. Anthony Simons, 4 years, $100 million to stick around for the Blazers. $25 million a year for a guy who is, I guess, a younger version of C.J. McCollum with a little more handles, a little more moves, a little more Damian Lillard-like, plays way less defense. I don't know. I've watched him since he was at the IMG Academy. I don't think this gets Portland any closer. But again, it's all about keeping control of assets and then flipping those assets for more assets. So, okay, if you don't want to get rid of him for nothing, so I get it. Does he stick around? Is he the future of the Portland Trailblazers? I don't think so. John Morant, love this for him. 5 years, $186 million for the Grizzlies. I saw a picture of him. It was just a guy looking around at a table full of money, confused, bewildered, and happy all at once. That was Ja. That Ja tweeted that out, and he was like, Grizzly for life, I can't believe all this money. Me neither, Ja. That table could actually be made of, like physically be made of stacks of cash encased in glass, and he would never even miss it. My man got paid to the tune of $37.2 million a year. I love that for him. Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is back on one knee to the Chicago Bull. Does he have a knee that works? We're going to have to see. Got scoped this summer. Does the Chicago Bulls roster, has it increased in any way outside of the Andre Drummond trade for what? Andre Drummond deal for $6 million? No. $42.5 million for Zach LaVine is exactly why I didn't want Zach LaVine on the Blazers. I am very happy with Anthony Simons over Zach LaVine. If that's the type of money we're talking about, folks, fine. Zion Williamson. Zion actually got paid, folks. Did anybody see that? I don't know, man. It looked dicey for a minute. 5 years, $231 million. Did you say that's a big stake? You say that's a mistake. That is a mistake, and that's a big stake for Zion Williamson. That man he doesn't miss a meal, that guy Zion. We also had some free agent signings worth looking at. We will not get into any of those until Tuesday, but I have a few initial thoughts. Lonnie Rocker, my guy. They let him walk. Lonnie Rocker, you can walk your ass out the door, buddy. 1 year, $6.5 million for the Lakers. Spurs did not want to keep Lonnie Rocker. They are full in on the Utah Jazz rebuild train. I love the Spurs, and you know why other people love the Spurs? Is they traded Dejounte Murray because they didn't want to make that man go through a rebuild. They were like, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be fun. You're an all-star. Why don't you go play with Trae Young, go see some strip clubs, go to Magic City, go eat some wings, enjoy yourself. You're young, and it's fun, and Atlanta's way better than San Antonio if you're not. If you're not a contender, there's no reason to be in San Antonio. So they rescinded their qualifying offer to Lonnie Rocker, so they just was like, hey, listen, get out. Get out, Lonnie. It's going to be a long road. You're a nice young player. Go get paid somewhere else. At least learn from LeBron. Enjoy L.A. Ivy at the Shore is amazing. Go to Santa Monica Beach. Go run out there. Just an amazing turn of events. P.J. Tucker, 3 years, $33.2 million. He went from the Heat to the Sixers. I told you guys, P.J. is getting more and more expensive by the minute. I don't know how you get older and get more valuable, but he surely does. Jalen Brunson, 4 years, $104 million, went from the Mavs to the Knicks. I tell you what, those Mavs, when we talked about this in January, the Mavericks could have signed Jalen Brunson for 5 years, 4 years, $56 million. And he said to them, hey, I'm playing pretty well. Do you guys want to sign me for that 4 year, $56 million? And they said, no, thank you. And I was wondering to myself if that would come back and bite them in the ass. And you know what? It has. Because now he has 4 years, $104 million, and Luka doesn't have a backcourt teammate that can play make and hit a bunch of threes consistently like Jalen. I don't know. I like Spencer Dinwiddie. Can he get you 41 on a night where Luka's not playing? I'm a little confused. I'm a little bit bewildered about whether he's going to be able to do that. Joe Ingles is now a Buck. That makes sense, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel like he's always kind of been a Buck? Just like a white guy that can shoot threes, not particularly mobile, like kind of a low-key trash talker, kind of low-key dirty player. Like it's kind of like a better version of Grayson Allen, like a more consistent, older version of Grayson Allen. Does Ingles have anything left in the tank? I don't know, but he does make sense. It does feel right in my bones. I knew he wouldn't stay with the Blazers. He's going to be very hard and helpful to defend somebody. Like, it's going to be better to have him than Grayson Allen out there. And better than probably Dante DiVincenzo. Going to be really interesting to see. My man, JaVale McGee, 3 years, $20 million. JaVale and Christian Wood. So together, they make $30 million a year. And would you rather have JaVale McGee and Christian Wood for $30 million a year, or Rudy and Karl Anthony Towns for $100 million? I can tell you what I would have, and it's not Rudy and Cat. Malik Monk, 2 years, $19 million, went from the Lakers to the Kings. Why, baby? Why? I don't know. Monk took a minimum last year, bet on himself, and now he's hanging out with Swiper Fox, playing no defense in the Deadlands. I talked to Sacramento today, the guys on the radio, and I asked them whether this moves the needle for them. And they said, really, Trysta, all we want to do is feel like we can maybe make the playoffs. Isn't that sad? I said, oh, so you're like that guy who's never been laid before. You don't care what the girl looks like. You don't care if there's love in the picture. You don't care whether she's been around. You just want to get laid. That's what it is. And they said yes. So that's how I feel about this Malik Monk move. Does it get him any closer to making the play-in tournament? I don't know. Does it mean that they will probably put up 140 points per game with De'Aaron Fox and Keegan Murray and DeMontis? What a gross roster. I'm moving on. Gary Payton II, 3 years, $28 million. What a story. Yes, Blazers. The Blazers signed Gary Payton II. The best part about this move, to me, is that we stole him. We stole him from the Warriors. They wanted him. They thought he was a critical piece to their championship roster. And you know what? We said, fine, we'll take him then. Otto Porter, 2 years. I don't even know the deal terms. I don't think they put him out. Warriors to the Raptors. A very strange signing in Toronto. Otto Porter, very long, can hit threes. So it makes sense. He's resurrected his career. He's won a ring in Golden State. I'm interested in seeing how he's going to fit in. But does this feel like maybe the Warriors are losing pieces that they didn't want to lose? At least they kept on to Kevon Looney. And with Bjelica moving on and making his way back to Europe, and Toscano Anderson is also gone, you've got 4 valuable bench players that are all gone. But you know what, folks? As you know, I remain confident. It's the Dubs year. I even tweeted this out. I don't even care if the Lakers get KD, Kyrie, AD, Braun. Doesn't matter. The Warriors are going to whoop that trick. And it's the Warriors game to lose until Steph Curry retires. I'm gold-blooded.